So, okay, we're just waiting to go live. Refresh. It's rather exciting, isn't it?
It just. I styled my hair for this interview.
That was perfect timing. Just as we go live. Beautifully done, sweetheart. Beautifully done.
Tuck it behind my ears now.
Good morning and welcome to Vanessa Loves. Vanessa Loves, where we have naked conversations. Now, naked is about stripping back the stories you believe to be true about yourself, to heal your heart, to heal your life, so that then you can connect and express yourself, your truest, most loving self, with confidence, purpose, and joy. That's what naked is. We are fully clothed. But it seems really fitting to have the first naked conversation with the love of my life, my darling sister, Abbie. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm very well, thank you.
Are you?
Very
You
well.
look fantastic.
Oh,
you really do look fantastic. So
you like my hairstyle?
I do. Yeah, you forgot to put it on. No, it's brilliant. You love it. I tell you, and you've really had to learn how to be naked over the last 6 months.
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
it's been a journey that we've been on for a couple of years.
Yes.
But can you just tell, please, for those of you who don't know your story and how truly amazing you are, why the last 6 months has been a real learning naked curve for you?
Well, okay, because as you could probably tell by the hairstyle that I have, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, breast cancer, in December the 3rd. In fact, is a date I'll never forget, really. And that was after. So I went to the doctors first of all in December of 19 with what I thought was a lump in my breast. And to cut a very, very long story short, I went to the doctors. They sent me to the hospital, the breast clinic, and I had all the tests, mammograms, ultrasounds, biopsies, and it was just excess fibrous tissue. So it was a 3-centimeter lump at the time, but it was excess fibrous tissue and or cysts. And I was told that it was nothing to worry about and to just kind of go away. And then COVID hit in 2020, as we know, in March 2020, and I still had the lump, but because I was told that it was nothing and that it was, nothing sinister, I went away not worrying. So fast forward, July, still had the lump, but it's nothing to worry about. Anyway, little did I know that cancers come up quite quickly if they're aggressive, which mine was. So then I would like to fast forward to October 2020, and the lump is still there, getting bigger, red skin, that kind of thing. Anyway, so, and then I went to the doctors again, and she said, no wonder you're worried. Your lump that you did have when you first came to see me has doubled in size. So I went back to the breast clinic, and lo and behold, was told, yes, I have breast cancer. In December of that year. So that was last year, December. And if I'm perfectly honest, I had 2 weeks of burying my head and just thinking, oh my gosh, I could die here. I have a 5-year-old son that needs me, but I could die and leave it. And so, yeah, that was 2 weeks of that. And we've been lucky enough, Vanessa, haven't we, to be brought up by our parents with a mindset that is, and I sort of sometimes hate to use the word positive, because, PMA, positive mental attitude, it's just a very, very general phrase, but we have been brought up that way, haven't we?
Yeah.
But for 2 weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, this is very, very serious. And then suddenly, 2 weeks after that, I had this fighting spirit kick in when I thought about my son, and I thought, I can't die. I have to fight this.
Yeah.
And then so I used the skills, if you like, that we had been brought up with, and that I had practiced with you and the mindfulness over the years. And I had the Deepak Chopra, you know, Deepak Chopra,
Yeah,
the
amazing.
guru.
Amazing
Yeah,
man.
he's amazing. And I listened to his audiobook, Quantum Healing. And I'm going to read it. In essence, it's about healing yourself with your mind and eating correctly and that sort of thing. But that's another story. But in essence, I want to just read out, and I want to get it right, but I want to read out the phrase that stuck with me, that sent me on my fighting spirit journey. And like I said, I'm going to read it. When you're feeling brave and invincible, your body is making neuropeptides similar to interleukin-2, which is one of the most powerful chemicals to fight cancer cells.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was it. I just turned my mindset around, and I thought, there is absolutely no way this is going to beat me. No way.
You know
Absolutely
what?
no way. And yeah. And
And
you never.
I remember having that conversation with you, because I was sat exactly here when you called me at 5 o'clock on the 3rd of December.
Wow.
Right. And in that very moment, that became my screensaver.
Oh.
So that's because I know the power of this work.
Yes.
Right. It's worked for me. We know it's worked for other people, but it's not until you are faced with a situation where the choice is, it brings me down or I rise above it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
There's only ever
both
two
ends
choices.
of the spectrum. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's only ever two choices. I'm tingling as I say that, because it's almost like divine intervention that you heard Deepak's, and he's a brilliant man, and he's turned his life around in many ways too. But it's not until you hear something that truly resonates with you that you can't deny, what is that feeling? And so then you question, what is that? Why does that resonate? And then it wakes that part of you up.
Yes.
That we all have.
Yes.
Right? And this is my belief, is I believe that we don't believe that we have it within us. And that's why I want to share. We've got some lovely comments here. I want to share with people that you are a beautiful, regular human being, right? You're a girl next door type, just like I am, just like we all are. But here's what sets you apart, right? You have an extraordinary belief in the power of the human mind, feeding the human body and allowing the soul to soar. And by aligning with that power, you and speaking with you, that's what spoke to you about being able to heal yourself.
Yeah, and you know, I've used this phrase a lot actually, and you never know how strong you are until being strong is the only option.
Yeah.
And
you're faced face to face with, backed into a corner, the choice I have is this or this. Which one are you going to choose? Okay.
Yeah. And that was my choice. You know, I've suffered from mental health. I'm not not shy in saying that I have suffered from mental health in the past, and you know, circumstantial. In my early 20s, and many people know what happened to me, but I suffered with mental health, and I was in a deep depression, and I thought, I don't want to go down there again. It took me a while to get out of that depression in my early 20s. I didn't want to go down there again. And actually, to be perfectly honest, I thought, that's not going to serve me if I'm now fighting for my life. This is a life-threatening situation. It is a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
It is
as a matter of life or death.
Yeah.
Which end of the stick is going to serve you so you are in your optimum strength, empowered, whatever terminology that the individual needs to talk to themselves.
Yes.
Right. To encourage the body, because the body just knows how to heal itself. We know that when we cut ourselves, we're healed. So if we get out of the way, the body knows what to do, right? So, and the chemistry, the greatest pharmacy that we have is actually between our ears. And this is what you did so beautifully. So a couple of things that we did in the beginning is we set up a boob army. So we had a WhatsApp group of people, your nearest and dearest, that came together in a WhatsApp space that said, right, we need to support Abbie. We've made you a love book. So we all wrote our beautiful messages in it. And I saw it the other day, it's like this fat now.
I'm always
wonderful.
referring to it. I haven't got it here, such a shame, but yeah, I'm always referring to that.
And a love book. And we had a power of 8. So we also had 8 people that prayed for you for 8 minutes. So we did kind of healing sessions, sending you on. We literally attacked it from every angle. But the most powerful thing for me that you did was decided to create an affirmation for yourself. How you spoke to yourself every single day throughout the day became your staple thing that spoke to this. Can you share with us, please, a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, as you can imagine, so I'll go back to sort of when my hair was falling out. I did use the scalp cooling machine to try and save my hair, and I think many many women and men, but women will kind of be on my page here when I say that sometimes hair is a big thing. And when I was losing it, it was so distressing, so distressing, coming out in clumps. And as many people know that have excuse me, supported me over this period, is that I decided to brave the shave and just get rid of it. And so looking in the mirror at this point with this, basically, it was really quite tough, really quite hard, and quite mentally challenging. And so I sort of said to myself, I looked in the mirror, and to actually look at myself and like what I saw was really hard in the beginning. But I do believe that actually, if you have an affirmation that you can say to yourself, especially when you're looking in the mirror, even if you don't believe it to start with, it becomes subconsciously embedded in your mind. And I would just look in the mirror and this is also while I was going through the chemotherapy as well, which could be draining on my physical body. And I would just say, I defy the odds and feel amazing. My boob cells are healthy and my body is healed. And I already believed in my mind that I was already healed. I pictured my life post-cancer.
Nice.
I pictured my health post-cancer. And it was all just, and that was how I did it. And I would look in the mirror, and there's nothing conceited about this, because that's not in my nature and that's not in my bones. But I would look in the mirror and I would go, you effing rock this, you're just doing this, come on girl, you know. And it really helped me to actually get through it. And you know, and actually I would smile in the mirror and I would laugh at myself, and that kind of thing really helped me get through. And so I just had this unwavering belief that I would get through this. There was absolutely no doubt in my mind, no doubt.
And it's interesting you say that, because it's not just, I say it's not just like a light switch, it actually is, because it's the flick of a decision. But it's not something that is necessarily easy to do. It's simple.
No, it's a simple choice, but
simple
it's not
choice,
easy.
right? But it's not easy.
No.
So all credit to you. But is it fair to say that you have to begin somewhere? You have to begin somewhere. So I'm either going to let it take me down, or I'm going to defy the odds. Well, the language you speak of is really key. So when we were making your love book and the messages were coming in, and people were saying, you're going to beat cancer. I just cut the word cancer out. I didn't put it in there. I didn't put those messages in there. All the language was positive. Now, that's not to plaster over the shit bits, right?
No.
Some people can see positive affirmation, and that's why I try, like you, we don't like to talk about it as positive and negative, because not only it makes you sound like a battery, but it's so much more than that.
Yeah, it is.
And affirmations are not, if they're used incorrectly, can just be paint on rust, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas if you use them to activate that place in you where the energy shifts, and then just like a tsunami, it begins somewhere. So a tsunami, right, starts with one drop of water.
Yeah.
So it's making that choice and keeping going, even though your outside circumstance, you're having chemo, it's pretty shitty. Your body is being attacked, while your mind is helping you get your body into that place where you just, so it's building the momentum, I think is what I'm trying to say. So when in the beginning you can get excited about it, what happens then when you perhaps did have a wobble, or you kind of fell off your perch a bit, which wasn't often,
No.
It did happen for you, didn't it? How did having that affirmation then support you?
Well, of course, because at the end of the day, I'm a human. I'm a human. I'm a person, and I think if we just have this huge, positive attitude all the time, then that's not real. And
No.
don't get me wrong, I've actually, posted my story on social media because I was getting so many lovely messages from people, and so it was my way of sort of updating, everybody in one go, if you like. And then I think maybe some people might be thinking, well, she's positive like all the time, how can that be? And actually the majority of the time, and I would say probably 90% of the time, I did feel completely euphoric about my situation and I was going to beat it. But 10% of the time I didn't, and I cried. I've cried so much. So, like I said, I'm a real person, and I do have those feelings of desperation, and I did have, could I die? But I think the thing is that because I've been practicing mindfulness for so long, that it was just easier to sort of get myself up from the desperation place, from the low place. It's easier to navigate yourself up rather than, and like I said, I've been in the depression many years ago and recently as well, sort of 5 years ago. And I didn't want to stay there.
No.
I had to come up. And so I just felt it was really, really important to, and the mindfulness. So how did I do it? Was just by the positive daily affirmations every day.
But you had little images as well. It wasn't just something you said to yourself and it didn't change. You created, you had it on like an A4 sheet.
Yes,
you
I
had
did.
it like on your mirror, either in your bathroom or in your bedroom, to remind you. Right? So that every day, every morning, every night time, and anywhere in between, you had pictures.
I had pictures. I would say things to myself. I had visuals that I'd look at of, me with hair and, healthy boob. And I would kind of have, a light coming onto my boob, just envisaging healthy cells and imagining the cancer cells as kind of, small and black in color. And you know what I mean? Just imagining all of that. And I just think that and I also interestingly, I gave love to the situation.
Yes.
So I would have a daily gratitude where I would be grateful for everything that I did have in my life. And I gave love to the cancer. Now, I know that sounds really strange, and people might say, how can you love something that is trying to take your life and trying to take over your body? But I felt, and this felt is a very interesting word, because I think if you just think something, I think I'm going to get over this, it kind of doesn't work. But when you actually feel something, and I like I said, I had this unwavering belief and feeling that I was going to be okay. When you feel something, it's tenfold.
Yeah.
And I gave love to it, and I thought, hold on a minute, this cancer is helping me realize that actually I'm looking for the silver linings in life.
Yeah.
And what I would do is think like, okay, so I've got an aggressive cancer. It was fast growing. Those ones are the ones that shrink quicker. Okay, so there's a silver lining there. The stress of cancer helped me lose weight. Hurrah! I wanted to get rid of this baby weight for years. My son's 5 years old and I hadn't lost it. Hurrah! I'm slimmer. I shaved my head, so I was saving money on hair products. Hurrah! Well, I'm richer. Just all these kind of things. And I was just.
You got more time in the morning because you're not blow drying your hair.
I'm not blow drying my hair. Less time in the morning. I'm not drinking very much because I didn't really feel I should. So I've got a healthier liver. Fantastic. So finding those silver linings really helped. So I gave love to the cancer and thought the cancer's come into my body for a very good reason.
Yeah.
And when
you know me well enough.
It makes it so much easier to cope with it. And do you know what, Vanessa? And we've said this so many times, it's all about perspective.
And it's how you reframe stuff. And
you
know me well enough that now, with all the work we've done over the years, that when you're in pain, good. I'm good. The pain is not a bad thing. It just makes you feel bad.
Yes.
But there's always a choice.
It's what you think about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this came to you for a reason, right?
Yes, I do think
so. And whatever that reason is, it kind of doesn't really matter. But the point is now, how do I choose? Where's my focus going to be? If I've got this much energy flowing through my body, right, because my heart is beating, Do I want to spend that energy where it's not going to serve me, or do I want to spend that energy where it's going to serve me? And
Yes,
if I've got
absolutely.
this trying to attack me in my body,
Yeah.
then there's only one choice.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
There was only one choice in my mind. Yeah.
And also, as well, you did it with humor. That was a really big part for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And laughing, and we spoke every single day.
Yes.
And every time I turned on my phone, the amount of times I would turn on my phone in the day, would always have, and you've got like a little halo above you, I would send you love and light. And you went on this horrific journey that taught you so very much.
Yeah.
You were overrun with love and support and flowers and presents and messages. And you said you just spent so much time on your phone, strangers ringing you.
I've been absolutely floored, and I have just been overwhelmed by the love and support. You know, I think when there's a situation when you're like this and you change your mindset, and you acknowledge the situation. I acknowledge the situation, and I think then, like we said about giving it love, I accepted the situation. And then, like you said, you have to make a choice to change the habits, and that then allows the change.
Yeah.
And whilst I was doing all this, I was getting such beautiful messages, and raising the money for Brave the Shave, for the Brave the Shave, the cancer hair care charity. Lots of people on Facebook supported me. I could not believe we raised over £7,000 for that charity.
Amazing. And a small charity as well.
Very small.
Blown away.
Yeah, and everyone has been just so kind. I mean, people are kind anyway, but since the diagnosis, people have just shown such love and support, and that has actually really, really helped me to overcome this as well. So everybody kind of listening to this, live now, they have been part of my journey, and that's a thank you from me, too, as well, because
absolutely. Can we just mention some people that are on here, because I've got this other Facebook, so I keep looking at it. Let me see if I can go into the comments. Beautiful Jessica says, such a beautiful talk. Hi, my darling. Mel Leggett, we know from school. You are both amazing, and so proud of Abbie. It's so lovely to have such great connection with your sister, actually. And that's going to be one of the things I want to say to you, because how I felt when I sat here and you said to me, my heart sank, because you automatically, as a human being, go to that place where it was like, excuse me, mum, for my language, but fuck, don't take my sister. Just no, I'm not ready for you to take my sister. We're very close. Yeah. And we've joked about the fact that now I've lived with you for 2 weeks after your mastectomy, that we got even closer. But I was not ready to leave you. So here's my thank you to you. When I got my head around it, which took me a little while, I'd say, well, a few hours, because I had to be in that place where it was like, right, who does Abbie need me to be? She now needs me to be the strongest, most empowered version of myself, right? Mum and dad had each other, the kids have got each other, and there I was on my own, effectively, right? Got beautiful support around me, but I want to say thank you to you, because that was the biggest kick up the proverbial backside I needed to become an even greater version of myself to support you, so that I could hold the space for you, knowing you would need that. The conversations we had about you not wanting to leave your son, etc., and yeah, so leveling up has just been such a beautiful lesson for me as well. So I want to say thank you to cancer for coming into your body. Thank you for choosing you, because actually what you've done is you have demonstrated that anyone can overcome any bloody thing.
Well, right? I think, yeah,
if they choose to.
If they choose to, and that's, like you say, it's making the choice. And my beautiful friend Jo, who's in our boob army, she created the hashtag kind of on not a whim, but just created the hashtag Be Like Abbie, and then all of a sudden, and I think it was because that you and the family and friends have just been almost well, this is your words, actually their words, in admiration for how I've dealt with it, that actually she's like, we should all be a bit like Abbie. And then that's kind of just stuck.
She just said, I want to be like Abbie in the group, didn't she? And it just stuck.
Yeah, and it just
so here's because I just obviously don't want to go too much over time. It would only be a few minutes. So on that note, how can if people are facing anything, right? So not everybody is going to be struggling with cancer. We could be looking at relationship breakdown. We could be looking at any kind of health issue.
Yeah.
We could be looking at people who are really struggling, anxiety or depression from pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could be, people might be losing their jobs. They might be losing their homes. They might actually be wanting to level up. So it's not always a bad thing, but they recognize they need to shift something within themselves, their mindset, their bodies and their souls to connect to that place.
Yeah.
How does one be like Abbie?
Well, like I said before, it's a mindfulness thing. And I think with the positive daily affirmations and in the present tense, like I am this or I am that, do you know what I mean? And I think, you know, for me, it's that it's also the stillness in one's mind. There's negative mind chatter going on, so replacing the negative mind chatter with positive uplifting mind chatter, giving daily gratitude to what you have got. You know, meditation, I've been doing your meditations and I think some people are a bit like meditation has to be like that. No, it's just you time, it's me time, it's focusing your mind and remaining calm. That was also the other thing that I've done, is remain calm throughout all of this. And then smiling through the process. You know, just who wants to live a life full of anxiety and worry? And it's just made me realize that actually I can live life now to the full, because we only have one life. And you know, one physical life, and that to me was smacked in my face that I may lose it. I didn't, and life's too short. Life's too short.
Well, and then you say that we have a life, but we don't actually choose to live it. And that's where the thing is that we can become addicted to who we think we are, which is again what the whole process of Naked is about, right? And what you've done is recognize that you're not what you think you are. What you think you are. So therefore you began, right? Remember that? You began then to reprogram the way you thought about yourself, because an old thought pattern invited this disease into your body where you were in a low vibe place, and it just helped to grow in your right boob, right? So therefore you then make a different choice, to think differently, to feel differently. And this is where the block is, because it's like, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, and then shit still happens and people are like, this doesn't work, right? It's because the block is in the energy. And you talk about the meditations, because in actual fact, meditation is to become familiar with, where are you? When you point to yourself, where do you point? You don't point here, or your knee, or your elbow. If you ask anyone to point themselves, they will only ever point to their hearts, right? So to meditate is to become familiar with who I actually truly am at the core, right? And you drop from the bullshit stories into the truest essence of your heart, right? And that you absolutely nailed it by keeping the consistency daily with your affirmation. Reprogrammed. The shift in your conversation was immense.
Well, and the thing is also I'm doing that now, because obviously since my surgery, my physical body has changed, and women out there will be on my you know, my same thought process here. When, well, okay, to be honest, I've got one boob lopped off, and there's another one been rebuilt. Okay, it doesn't look like the one I was born with. You know, lots of people. I'm just being upfront and honest, and that's the truth. And it's very hard. Again, like I did with my shaved head, it's hard to look in the mirror at that. But do you know what? I look at that and I think, but there's no cancer there anymore. It's gone. I have that new boob because I've got no cancer. So again, it's reframing the mind. But you know, I have
a process, though, isn't it?
It's a process, and I do have a new affirmation, which so yeah, I do have a new affirmation, but it's got the word beautiful in it, and I'm still learning this, and it's kind of difficult to look in the mirror and think, you know, I'm a beautiful human on the outside, but at the end of the day, I am me. I am me, and I still have the same heart.
You too. You too.
I still have the same heart. Even though my physical body has changed for the rest of my life, I'm still me.
You are, because beautiful is a word that many women and many men really struggle with. But because the way I've reframed it, because I struggle with it too, right? but it's beautiful, as in full of beauty. But your beauty is not what you look like, right? Your beauty is, as you say, the beauty of your own heart. And that's now where the new work is for you, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
reaffirming to yourself. And then when you feel beautiful on the inside, you naturally shine and you are naturally beautiful on the outside. It's all a learning process.
It is, yeah.
And well, you're my very best friend, and we have been in each other's lives for 45 years. I wouldn't change anything about you. You have just constantly evolved into more and more and more and more of the most beautiful human being. And we haven't actually had a chance to go over many of the comments here, but
No,
they are full of love and full of admiration. And some of these people don't even know you, but they know you through me, because they've supported us supporting you. And lots of people, I can see Tracy Spargo is commented on here as well. She's going through her own breast cancer journey. So one of the beautiful things about your journey is it's helped, or it's shaped you. You are a real human being anyway, but it has absolutely shone and helped you reveal your true essence. But that's what people fall in love with. That's what connects us all.
I just want to help others as well. I want to help. This is my point about the hashtag Be Like Abbie, is that I just want to help others to have this attitude going through something like this, but like you say, other kind of, you know, situations in life as well that aren't quite so, you know, favorable to have to go through. I just want to help others, and if my attitude can help others as well, then it's a, you know, a double whammy of greatness.
Mission accomplished. But you've been the demonstration of the fact that this work works. That's what I really want to highlight in you, right? You've applied this work and it's worked, right? Trust the process. This shit works. Abbie is an example of that. Many people here, if not everybody in this chat and in this group, knows this to be true. You've demonstrated it. We'll carry on the conversation in the group, because I'm sure many more comments and things will come through as people watch this naked conversation with you. Thank you for being the awesome example that you are. I love you very much, and I know you're only over there, so I'm going to come and give you a really quick hug. It'd be really lovely to have you here this week. But there's so much more around this subject that I'm sure we'll be able to share in the coming days and weeks. Just suffice to say, I love you. You are so very special, and thank you for overcoming the biggest obstacles, so that we have now many more years together. And actually, shall you tell everybody that you are now cancer-free? I'm cancer-free. Yeah, I'm cancer-free. I have no nasty cells in my body, so I beat it. Yeah, you said you would, and you did. She said she would, and she did. Woohoo! So it all begins there. My hair to go back now. Absolutely. Anyway, well, you're rocking the look, absolutely rocking the look. You are beautiful inside and out. Thank you for being such an inspiration. I love you, and I am so blessed to, you know, be walking this life with you. Love you. God bless you. Bye. Catch you later. Take care. Bye.